Hi! Welcome to the first episode of my videos on crime and forensic science. I'm a graduate in the Masters of Crime and Forensic Science at the University College London, where I learned a lot of interesting things such as crime scene investigation, crime patterns, and even serial crime. I would love to share all of it with those who are interested, so let's get straight into it. To get started, I'll give a brief breakdown of what crime and forensic science entails. It can be broken down into two big sections: crime science and forensic science. Some of you may have noticed that the word science is used in both topics. It highlights that systematic and standardized methods are used both in studying crime and forensic science. To really summarize, crime science is about understanding and preventing crime at a larger scale, whereas forensic science is more about crime scene investigations and evidence. As I said earlier, crime science is about understanding and preventing crime. To do this, we first need to analyze the crimes. Crimes can be analyzed in many different ways, but they can be categorized into the following four types: geographical analysis, temporal analysis, offender analysis, and victim analysis. In future videos, I'll be going through each and every one of them in more detail, but for now, I'm going to give a few examples just to give you guys the general idea of what they are. Geographical analysis. Geographical analysis refers to how the occurrence of different types of crime are associated with particular locations. A really straightforward example would be that theft occurs more frequently at crowded locations, such as busy shopping districts and touristy locations. Patterns can also be found when analyzing offenders and victims. By studying the offenders of a particular crime, we can often find similarities in their attributes. These attributes are what we call risk factors because they increase the risk of someone offending. For instance, some common risk factors of those who commit violent crimes could be history of violent victimization, involvement with drugs and alcohol, and also low commitment in school. After finding out what the crime patterns are, we can then devise specific crime prevention strategies. Example: knowing that theft occurs more frequently in crowded areas, we may want to adopt crowd control measures. This could be monitoring or limiting the number of people in a given space. For example, we could sell a limited number of tickets to an event to prevent overcrowding. On to forensic science, which is even more exciting than crime science, in my opinion. Forensic science is the application of science to crime investigation, with the focus on crime scenes and evidence. These are then used to solve a case and also support legal decision making. Forensic science can be broken down into three domains: crime scene investigation, or better known as CSI, evidence analysis, and evidence interpretation. If we were to go one step further, forensic experts may also be asked to give expert testimonies in court. Crime scene investigation, CSI. In CSI, we learned how to approach crime scenes, how to collect evidence, and so on and so on. Although CSI is so interesting, there's so much of it that is not being disclosed in the media. That's why I'll dedicate a lot more of the future videos on CSI. After the CSI has done their jobs, the next step is evidence analysis. For instance, if I were to give you two sets of fingerprints that look kind of similar, that probably is not going to mean much to anyone. Therefore, there are systematic and standardized ways of analyzing different types of evidence so that we can draw conclusions about them. However, just because you have an idea about what the evidence is showing doesn't necessarily help with the case. The evidence always needs to be considered in the context of the crime and also events associated with the crime. For example, after a murder, you found man A's DNA all over the victim's house. The friends of the victim says that the victim does not know man A. If this piece of DNA evidence is considered by itself, then man A will probably be one of the head suspects of this case. But upon further investigation, it was found that the victim has moved into this apartment really recently, and man A was the previous tenant of this apartment. So it would only make sense that man A's DNA is still present in the house. Therefore, if context wasn't considered at all, then this piece of evidence may have led to a wrongful conviction of man A. To conclude, I've talked a lot today, and I hope I've given a brief overview of the bigger picture of what crime and forensic science is like. It's a huge topic, and that's why it took me 15 months to learn at the university, but it mainly revolves around 3 key ideas of understanding crime, preventing crime, and investigating crime. I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it in my future videos and really dive deep into each individual concept and ideas. And I'll see you guys in the next video.